You finished the day exhausted. You checked off tasks, answered messages, sat through meetings, put out fires. And when you finally stopped, that feeling hit you. The thing that actually mattered today, still sitting there, untouched, waiting for tomorrow. That is not a productivity problem. That is not a discipline problem. That is not even a time problem. It is a mission problem. And in the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly why your brain is working against you every single day. And the 5-tool system used by Special Forces operators to completely eliminate that feeling. Before we go any further, I want you to do one thing right now. Open your Notes app or grab a piece of paper and write down your single most important task for today. Not a list. One thing. The one thing that, if you complete it today and nothing else, makes the day worth it. Write it down and come back. Because at the end of this video, I'm going to ask you whether you did it. And that moment of accountability, that small moment of looking yourself in the eye, that is already the beginning of something different. Now let me tell you something that is going to sound strange. I spent years planning complex military operations. Multiple units, moving parts, high stakes, zero margin for error. I knew how to execute under pressure. I knew how to lead teams through uncertainty. I knew how to keep my head when everything was falling apart around me. And then I left the military. And within a few months, I could not manage my own week. I would wake up with a full list, work all day, and go to bed with the heavy feeling that the things that truly mattered had been pushed to tomorrow again. I was busy every single hour, and I was going nowhere. That contradiction stopped me cold. How could someone who planned operations worth millions of dollars and lives fail at planning a Tuesday? The answer changed everything I thought I knew about productivity, and it is the reason you are watching this right now. The problem was not effort. The problem was not intelligence. The problem was that I had stopped defining the mission before starting the day. And without a defined mission, every single task feels equally important, which means nothing actually is. Here is what I want you to understand before we get into the tools. Everything I am about to show you was not designed in a self-help book. It was not invented by a productivity influencer. These tools were forged in environments where failure was not an inconvenience. It was catastrophic. Every single framework I am going to share with you has been stress-tested under conditions that most people will never face. And the reason they work in your daily life is exactly the same reason they work in the field. Because the human brain operates on the same psychological principles regardless of where you are. Let us start with the tool that sounds the most obvious and is almost universally ignored. Every single day before anything else happens, you need to ask yourself one question. What is the mission? Not what is on the to-do list, not what needs to be handled today, not what your boss wants or your inbox demands or your phone is screaming at you about. What is the mission? What is the single outcome that, if achieved today, makes everything else secondary? Special Forces units do not move without mission clarity. Not because they lack the skill to improvise. They are trained to improvise better than almost anyone alive. They do it because without mission clarity, every decision becomes reactive. Every resource gets diluted. Every person on the team starts pulling in a slightly different direction. And when that happens in a high-stakes environment, people die. In your life, nobody dies. But your year does. Your goals do. The version of yourself you are trying to build gets slowly starved of the attention it needs. Think about your average morning. Your alarm goes off. Before you even sit up, your phone is already pulling at you. A text from a coworker. An email that arrived at 11 p.m. A notification from an app reminding you of something you saved 3 weeks ago. You start responding. You start reacting. You start solving problems that other people created on their schedule with their priorities for their goals. And somewhere in the middle of all that noise, Your actual mission for the day never gets defined. By noon, you are deep in the reactive cycle. You are handling what appeared, not what matters. You are busy, genuinely busy, but the busyness is pointed in 50 directions at once. Here is the rule I use. Before I touch my phone in the morning, before I open my laptop, before I check a single message, I define 3 things. The primary mission, one task, one outcome, the most important thing. 2 secondary priorities, things that matter, but will not destroy the day if they slip. And 1 non-negotiable operational task, something that must happen every single day without exception. That is it. 3 categories, 1 primary mission, and the discipline to protect it. The most important part of this is not what goes on the list. It is what you refuse to let on the list. A special forces soldier in the field does not stop to check his email, not because he does not have a phone, but because he has a mission. The mission is the filter. Everything that does not serve the mission is noise, and noise is the enemy of progress. When everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. Write that down. Burn it into your thinking. Because that single sentence applied consistently will do more for your output than any app, any system, any morning routine you have ever tried. But here is the problem nobody talks about. You can define the mission perfectly. You can write it down, stare at it, commit to it, and still, within 20 minutes of sitting down to do the actual work, your brain starts drifting. A thought about an email you forgot. A sudden urge to check if someone responded to something. A random curiosity that sends you down a search rabbit hole. And 15 minutes later, you surface somewhere completely different, wondering what just happened. This is not weakness. This is not lack of discipline. This is your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do. And understanding this is the key to the second tool. Your brain is not a focused processing machine by default. It is a threat detection system that has been adapting for hundreds of thousands of years. It is built to scan constantly, notice changes, respond to stimuli. Deep, sustained focus on a single task is actually one of the most unnatural things you can ask a human brain to do without structure. So when you sit down to work and your mind starts wandering after 10 minutes, that is not a character flaw. That is your ancient hardware running its default program. The question is how you override it deliberately. In special forces, an operation is never executed as one continuous, unbroken action. It is divided into phases: planning, infiltration, action on the objective, extraction. Each phase has total focus. The operator executing infiltration is not thinking about extraction. He is not thinking about what comes next. He is completely present in the phase he is in, because fragmenting focus fragments results. That principle translates directly into your daily structure. This is what I call operation blocks. You take your working hours and you divide them into focused blocks of 60 to 90 minutes. Each block has one type of task, and one type only. A creation block, writing, building, producing. A communication block, email, messages, calls. An administrative block, logistics, finances, planning. A learning block, reading, studying, developing a skill. Within each block, you do only that one type of work. Phone is away. Notifications are off. You do not switch. You do not multitask. You conduct an operation. You commit to that phase completely, and you do not exit until the block is done. The research on this is overwhelming. A study from the University of California found that after a single interruption, the average person takes more than 20 minutes to fully return to the depth of focus they had before being interrupted. 20 minutes. If you are getting interrupted or switching tasks every 15 minutes, which the same research suggests is roughly average for most knowledge workers, you are spending your entire day in the shallow water of your own cognition. You are never going deep. You are never doing your best work. You are just skimming. Operation blocks fix this. Not because they make you more disciplined, but because they create a structural container that your brain can operate inside. The discipline is in setting the block. Once you are inside it, the structure carries you. Look at your day right now. What blocks can you carve out? Even 2 solid 90-minute operation blocks in a day will produce more than 6 hours of fractured, reactive, constantly interrupted working time. That is not an exaggeration. That is what the data shows. And that is what I experienced personally the moment I started applying this. But here is something almost nobody addresses. Even when the block is set, even when the phone is face down and the door is closed, there is still an enemy inside the block itself. And that enemy is you. Your brain will resist. It will manufacture urgency. It will generate distractions from the inside. It will convince you that you need to check something, clarify something, remember something. This resistance is real, and it is predictable. And there is a tool that is 40 years old, widely mocked for its simplicity, and almost universally misused by the people who try it. You have almost certainly heard of the Pomodoro technique. And if you are like most people who encounter it, you probably tried it once, found it too rigid or too simple, and moved on. That reaction is the mistake. Here is why the technique actually works. Not as a productivity hack, but as a neurological contract. Your brain resists sustained focus, in large part because it cannot see the end. When you sit down to work on something difficult and open-ended, your subconscious registers the task as potentially infinite. It does not know how long this will take. It does not know when relief is coming. And so it starts looking for exits. The timer solves this at the neural level. When you set 25 minutes on a timer, you are giving your brain a contract. You are telling it exactly how long this demands your full attention. You are telling it when the next break is coming. And the brain, which is fundamentally a prediction machine, can execute inside a known window far more effectively than inside an undefined one. Think of it this way. In military training, you never tell an operator to carry a 40-pound pack for an unknown distance at an unknown pace with no information about when it ends. You tell him 2 miles to the next checkpoint. That specificity does not make the carry easier physically, but it changes the entire psychological equation. The brain can commit to a defined challenge in a way it cannot commit to an open-ended one. 25 minutes of genuine, unbroken, single-task focus will produce more real output than most people generate in an entire morning of multitasking. Not because you became more intelligent, but because you stopped pretending that doing 5 things at once is the same as doing one thing completely. The way most people get the Pomodoro wrong is by treating the breaks as optional or by pushing through them when they feel momentum. Do not do this. The break is not a reward. The break is part of the mechanism. It is when your brain consolidates what it just processed. Skipping the break is like doing a set at the gym and refusing to rest between sets because you are feeling strong. The fatigue accumulates whether you feel it or not, and eventually the output degrades. Use the technique correctly. Set 25 minutes. Work on one thing. Stop when the timer goes off. Take 5 minutes completely away from the task, then begin again. 4 cycles, then take a longer break of 20 to 30 minutes. The structure is not arbitrary. It maps to how the brain actually cycles through high-intensity cognitive effort. Now, you can have the perfect mission. You can have your operation blocks set up. You can be running Pomodoro cycles like a precision instrument. And on Sunday night, you will still get crushed if Monday morning comes without a plan. Because here is what happens to most people on Monday morning in America. The alarm goes off. Before the coffee is even brewed, there are 3 text messages waiting, one of which is a problem that appeared over the weekend. There is a meeting that was added to the calendar Friday afternoon that you barely registered. There is a project that needs a response by noon. And you have not even thought about your actual priorities for the week yet. So the week begins in reaction mode. And once it starts that way, it almost never recovers. You spend the whole week chasing the agenda that the world set for you. And Friday arrives, having done almost none of what you actually intended. No Special Forces unit begins an operation without a planning session. No exceptions. No matter how experienced the team, no matter how familiar the terrain, no matter how tight the timeline, there is always a planning phase. Because without it, you are not executing. You are improvising. And improvisation always has a cost. The weekly mission protocol is 20 minutes. That is all it takes. Sunday evening or Monday morning, before you open a single message or respond to a single notification, you sit down and you ask yourself 4 questions. What actually matters this week? Not 10 things, not a list of 20. 2 or 3 outcomes that, if achieved, make the week a success. Everything else is secondary. If you cannot name your top 2 or 3 outcomes in under 2 minutes, you do not have priorities. You have a wish list. What are the fixed commitments? Meetings, appointments, travel, family obligations. Put them on the radar before they appear as surprises. This is not scheduling. This is reconnaissance. You are mapping the terrain before you move through it. Which days will I do my deep work? Not when I get around to it. Not if there is time. Specific days, specific blocks, decided in advance and protected from the moment you write them down. If you do not schedule your deep work, other people will schedule their shallow requests in those slots. And you will let them, because you will have nothing to defend. What am I not doing this week? This is the question almost no one asks, and it is the most powerful of the 4. What comes off the list? What do you say no to, postpone, delegate, or eliminate? Adding is easy. Eliminating is where the real leverage is. Every item you refuse to add to your week is a decision in favor of your mission. Every item you allow in without scrutiny is a slow leak in your attention. 20 minutes. 4 questions. Done once a week, this protocol will do more for your long-term output than any productivity app you have ever downloaded. The week stops happening to you. You start happening to the week. But there is still one more problem. And this one is the most invisible of all. Even with a clear mission, even with operation blocks, even with weekly planning, there is a background noise that never stops. A constant low-level hum in your mind that has nothing to do with the work in front of you. Errands you need to run, things you forgot to follow up on, ideas that arrive at the wrong moment, concerns you carry from yesterday into today. Obligations sitting somewhere in the back of your mind that your brain refuses to fully release because it is afraid of forgetting them. This is not distraction. This is cognitive load. And it is quietly draining your processing power every single hour of the day. Your brain was not built to be a storage device. It was built to think. When you force it to simultaneously hold your priorities, remember your obligations, process new information, and generate output, you are running too many programs at once. The system slows down, errors increase, fatigue arrives earlier, and the quality of your thinking degrades in ways you may not even notice because it happens so gradually. In the field, there is a principle about equipment. Every piece of gear a soldier carries must have a specific function. Redundancy without purpose is weight. And weight costs speed, costs endurance, costs effectiveness. The same principle applies to what you carry in your mind. Every uncaptured thought, every unprocessed obligation, every idea floating in your mental RAM is weight, and it is costing you. The solution is a daily practice I call the mind unload. Every morning, before you start your operation blocks, you take a blank page and you write down everything that is in your head. Not organized, not prioritized, not filtered. Everything. Tasks you need to do. Ideas you do not want to lose. Things you are worried about. Problems you need to address. People you need to reach out to. Bills, appointments, creative thoughts, random memories. Everything that is taking up space. You write it down and you get it out of your head and onto the paper. Once it is on the page, it no longer needs to live in your working memory. Your brain gets a signal that the information has been captured, and it releases the background tension it was carrying to maintain it. The cognitive load drops, the mental noise quiets, and the space that frees up is real and immediate. After the unload, you look at the list and you do 4 things with each item. You prioritize it, placing it on today's mission list if it is urgent and important. You schedule it, giving it a specific future date if it matters, but not today. You delegate it, passing it to someone else if it does not need to be you. Or you eliminate it, letting it go entirely if it is neither urgent, important, nor delegable. This process takes 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, and the mental clarity it creates is not subtle. It is the difference between working with a clean desk and working with 6 months of clutter piled around you. You will notice that problems you thought were complex become straightforward when you look at them on paper. You will notice that the things causing you the most anxiety are often not the most important things. They are just the most present. The act of externalizing your mental load gives you perspective that is impossible to achieve when everything lives in your head simultaneously. Now we come to the tool that separates the people who improve from the people who repeat the same year over and over again. This is the one almost no one does. People plan sometimes. People execute sometimes. But almost nobody reviews with honesty and intention. Every week ends the same way for most people. Friday arrives, the week was a blur, you feel vaguely behind, you hope next week will be different, and then Monday comes and the cycle repeats. Not because you lacked effort, not because you were not trying, but because you never stopped to examine what actually happened. After every mission, every single one, regardless of outcome, Special Forces units conduct what is called an after-action review. It happens immediately after the operation ends, still sweating, still coming down from the adrenaline. The team sits together and asks 3 questions with complete honesty and zero ego. What worked? What failed? What needs to change next time? No justifications, no protecting reputations, no softening the truth to make anyone feel better. Because in real operations, the mistake that is not analyzed becomes the mistake that gets repeated. And repeated mistakes in that environment are fatal. Your mistakes are not fatal, but they cost you something that is equally irreplaceable: time, energy, and opportunity. I started applying this protocol to my own week. Every Friday, I take 10 minutes. I close the laptop. I open a notebook. And I ask those same 3 questions. What worked well this week? Which decisions moved things forward? Which habits served me? Which blocks of time produced the most? This question forces you to identify what you should repeat and protect. What wasted my time? Meetings that should not have happened. Tasks that were not actually mine to do. Distractions I allowed in. Time spent on urgency that turned out not to matter. This is where you need to be brutally honest. Not to punish yourself, but to see clearly. What will I do differently next week? One thing. Specific. Actionable. Not a vague intention to be more focused, but a concrete change. 1 correction per week. There are 52 weeks in a year. 52 small, honest corrections, applied consistently, will take you somewhere that 100 motivational speeches never could. The first time I sat down and did this honestly, I made a discovery that shook me. I went through my week and realized that I had spent 3 full days responding to other people's requests. Tasks that were not on my mission, not on my priorities, not even particularly urgent. I had let them in. Not because they demanded it, not because it was truly necessary, but because I had not said no. Because without a clear boundary around my mission, the default was yes to whatever showed up. I would never have seen this without the review. I would have gone into the next week assuming my problem was time, when my actual problem was boundaries. 10 minutes of honest review gave me more clarity than an entire season of hustle. Here is what I want you to sit with for a moment. Think about the last month of your life. If you were to do an after-action review on the last 30 days, completely honest, no ego, no justifications, what would you find? What patterns would appear? What opportunities would you see that you had been walking past? What would you finally have to acknowledge about how you have been spending the one resource that never comes back? Because here is the truth that most productivity content dances around and never quite says directly. The problem is almost never what you think it is. The person who says they have no time almost always has a prioritization problem. The person who says they cannot focus almost always has a structure problem. The person who is always exhausted by Friday almost always has a boundaries problem. And none of these problems can be diagnosed from inside the chaos. You have to step back, look honestly, and be willing to see what is actually there. These 5 tools, mission definition, operation blocks, timed focus cycles, weekly mission protocol, and the weekly after-action review, are not complicated. None of them require technology. None of them require a subscription or an app or a certification. They require only one thing: the decision to stop reacting to your life and start commanding it. A soldier in the field does not get to choose whether the environment is chaotic. The chaos is given. What is not given is whether the soldier responds to that chaos with clarity or with panic. Clarity comes from structure. Structure comes from preparation. Preparation comes from deciding, in advance, with intention, what matters and what does not. You have the same choice every single morning, before the phone lights up, before the notifications arrive, before anyone else has a claim on your attention. In that window, you can define your mission, or you can let the day define it for you. Today, when the day ends and you look back at how it went, you are going to feel one of 2 things. You are going to feel the deep, quiet satisfaction of someone who moved forward on what actually mattered. Or you are going to feel the low-grade exhaustion of someone who was busy for 12 hours and cannot point to a single thing that truly advanced their life. The difference between those 2 feelings is not talent, it is not luck, it is not even time, it is decision, made once, clearly, before the day begins. Go back to what you wrote at the beginning of this video. Your mission for today. Did you do it? That question matters more than any advice I could give you, because the gap between knowing and doing is where most people live permanently. The tools are simple. The information is available. What is rare is the person who actually applies it. Start today. Define the mission. Build one operation block. Set one timer. Plan 20 minutes for next week. Review 10 minutes at the end of the week. 5 tools. Applied consistently, compounded over time. If this hit something real for you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. And drop a comment below telling me one thing. Did you complete your mission today? That single question, answered honestly, is the beginning of thinking like special forces. The mission is yours. Command it.